Hey everyone! Happy Mother's Day! Happy Sunday! I just wanted to come and do one last little live stream since today is the Sunday, which would have been the last day of the convention. I thought it'd be a great way and time to do the reading of my diary. Now, I've never done a reading before. It might be a disaster. I don't know. I always say this about these live videos. You never know. It's a live and learn process, I guess. And so, what I'm going to do is I wanted to remember in detail because it was my first Star Wars celebration, right? And the memories don't always stay in perfect, like details and stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure that I'd be having a record of some kind because I didn't know if I was going to return, if there were going to be more adventures afterwards or whatnot. So I haven't read this diary or my notes since 2002, so 20 years ago. So it'll be fun to see what I wrote to myself, and I'll be doing some comments in between if it sparks something that I had not even remembered or something like that. At least that's the plan. And so hopefully it'll be a bit more interesting than having you just read it yourself. You'll be able to see exactly, get some inside my brain information, if you want to call it that way. So let's put the screen up, and then we'll read from the beginning of when I was getting ready in Montreal, and then that'll include the full couple of days until we reach Indianapolis and do the convention. And then I think there's probably a recap or how it was the drive back home and the memories that I had at that time of the experience that I just lived. So let's do the screen, double screen here. Let me do this. And then I'll just scoot over a little bit so you can see me. Okay, so I will go and I have the comments window open. So if you want to say anything or say hello, I'll be checking that out at the same time as I'm reading. So we'll be doing some ping pong back and forth over there. So let's begin with over here. Let me just see if I do this. Scroll down. Okay, I want to just set this up like that so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now this part, okay, Frank's production, I really don't need to read that. That's not really important. Okay, so Monday, April 29. Oh, I should go there. I scrolled too high. Okay. This. Here we go. Okay, so Monday, April 29th, last minute prep. Celebration 2, Diorama Builders Workshop is really happening. Yes, I wish I had put how many months before of planning that I had done or when we had done the deal with Lucasfilm, but anyhow. Is happening. I'm so excited about this, but I wish I had one more week to prepare. And then I said, note, nothing has changed in 17 years. Well, yeah, now it's 20, but yes, that is true. Oh my God, that's funny. And it's always the same going forwards. There's never enough preparation. It's insane how time flies by, yes. I wanted to put this section online last week, but I was too busy, and if I can't surprise, last week I went to my friend Mark's workshop and we built the diorama exhibit podiums. You can click here to see how they turned out. Okay, so I think if you saw the making of video, or if you see some of the in the conventions celebration 2 link, you'll be seeing the pictures that we're talking about. So the podiums, we knew that because we were driving, I was going to be able to bring some of my dioramas home and be able to, for the first time, do a public showing instead of just seeing it online. So that's what that was for. So we would be able to say, hey, Pat, nice to see you. So let me just go over here. Then it says, where am I over here? This weekend was cuckoo. I spent Saturday printing out the t-shirt iron-ons for the crew. It's really cool to be able to make your own iron-on stickers, but very time-consuming. Yes, that I agree. Even today, 20 years later with the Cricut and different things, it is still that same problem. But they will make great souvenirs and a great way to thank the crew for all their help during the Diorama Builders Workshop. Yes, I did give the crew and the fans some of the shirts, and I should have kept some for myself because it would have been a nice souvenir for me, but I did not do that. Sunday, I printed out my special gifts. I wanted to hand out people to find out and say Ichiwana. I know it's a bit corny, but it's in the spirit of the convention. Oh, I think when people, if they had read on my website to give me the secret word and they said the secret word to me, I would have given them this gift. Now, I don't even know what the gift is. I don't remember. And so I'm assuming that things had gone on. That's really funny. I was giving, I really don't, I wonder what it was. I know I made keychains. Maybe it was the keychain that I was giving away. I don't recall. God, I should put my cursors. I thought it'd be easier reading than doing this. Okay, Sunday I printed my gifts, convention. I also started making t-shirts. They turned out a lot better than I expected. If only I didn't take 15 minutes for each t-shirt, I would have made 6 and have 12 more to do for tomorrow after work. I also fixed up Vader's secret today. It was messed up, almost 2 years sitting on the shelf. I had to, My dioramas that I brought had a lot of dirt and stuff. I had to like spruce them up in order to show them to the public. All the decals were peeling off, and I just finished my Back to Tank diorama. I'm really happy with it. Now, May is almost here. Might be that my next diorama will be episode 2 scene. I can't wait for this movie. It looks so good, and then I put, what was I thinking? Well, out of the prequels, episode 1 is the one I watched the most. Episode 2 I watched more, and episode 3 I think I watched 1 time or 2 times. It's not my favorite. That last Darth Vader screaming no has just turned me off of that movie. Oh my lord. Anyhow, but episode 2 I did make Palpatine's office, and that was a fun build, and that's the only build I ever did of episode 2 or the prequels at the time. I haven't done any dioramas for episode 3 so far. So anyhow, let's see. It's 2:30 a.m. I must go to bed. Well, then nothing's changed there. I usually go to bed at 2:30 to 3, 4. I have David Letterman to thank for that. Watching always late night. Last day of work tomorrow. Then I am off to India. I will be arriving Wednesday night, setting up at the convention center Thursday. I will try and see how we can keep you posted on our progress. Well, remember, this is 20 years ago. There was no live stream. There was no YouTube. Was there Facebook back 20 years ago? I don't recall. I don't think so. There was just the website, and then I needed connection and a way to post it. And then when you're doing the convention, just like in the past 20 years, it's always been the same. I always wanted to try and give you guys live on the spot, activity. But when you're doing the workshop, you're not able to, do web stuff and show you at the same time as you're working. So you almost need to, I would need to clone myself or split myself. I've been saying that a long time, even for making the dioramas and doing the website and YouTube and everything. Is just, it takes a chunk of time for everything. So it's very, I wish I could condense everything and give you more content sooner than later. But that's what happens when you're a one-man team doing all of this. So anyhow, in progress thing, I will have lots to tell you upon my return home on Tuesday, May 7. Until then, take care. Okay, so Tuesday, over here, Tuesday, April 30th, leaving Montreal. I woke up early, around 9:30. That is early for me. I usually wake up like at 11 o'clock, noon sometimes. And then, but I go to bed at 4, 5. I'm a very night owl type of person. And that's a bad thing because, yeah. I woke up early around 9:30. Hey, that's early for me. I wrote it down. My best friend from university and co-pilot for this adventure, Lucy, picked up the rental minivan and dropped it off while she went to do last-minute errands. I am printing out the biography cards that will go in front of every diorama display for the exhibit. During this time, I brought the podiums to the balcony and started sanding them. Our plan is to leave Montreal by 2 p.m. today. Okay, so Lucy was my best friend from university. I met her at university in the 87 or 88 or something like that. And the funny thing is that I got her to come to the convention, but she is not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't even know if she's watched Star Wars. I know that she did not know the difference between R2-D2 and Darth Vader or Princess Leia or anything like that. So it was kind of ironic to have her come to the help at the show since, like, you know, she had no idea. But for her, it was bringing the camera and filming the documentary that's available on the YouTube channel as well. That was the reasoning that she wanted to tag along. More for that experience than the experience of watching me make more dioramas with all the fans and stuff like that. And so I was really grateful for her to come, though, and that she got to experience that. Guess what? It's 4 p.m., okay, 2 hours later. It's 4 p.m., and I just finished sanding those damn podiums. Good news is that they all fit in the minivan. Bad news is I haven't yet started packing the dioramas or made my suitcase or even showered. Lucy is back and helping me pack. Great. None of the boxes I have are big enough to protect the dioramas. I must cut some and make adjustments. More time wasted. Always things that you don't plan on, and that's still one of my pet peeves today. Hey Daniel, nice to see you. I'll put the links on, Pat, after the things. But if you go to conventions, conventions, and then celebration 2. Oh, I'm looking there instead of there. If you go to the conventions menu under celebration 2, all of the links for all of the website images and stuff like that are there. And then on the YouTube channel, just look through the different sections for either live or the celebration coverage. You'll be able to find it there. What was I saying? I was saying hi to Daniel. He says, always enjoyable, interesting watching and listening to you talk. Okay, thanks, Daniel. At least that's one person who enjoys listening to what I have to say. You're welcome. Okay, so I was saying by reading that time wasted, there's one pet peeve I have, and that is when something that's supposed to take, say, like 30 seconds, like if you turn on the TV and you want to watch a show and then it says you have to reboot the system or something like that, and it just annoys me so much to take like 5 minutes for something that's supposed to take 30 minutes. Or 30 seconds, I should say. So when I see that when I see that my boxes, none of them fit, and something that I thought it would just be putting the dioramas in the boxes, and then I ended up wasting so much time cutting boxes and making them the size to fit the dioramas, I can understand why I was angry at myself, even not angry at myself back then, but upset that I was having to do all of these things. So we placed all the figures in Glad sandwich bags to protect them because me and Jamie were bringing all our figures. This was the first workshop, right? So we didn't have any, we didn't think or to ask, or we didn't have any Hasbro donations at the time because they didn't know about the booth. And we didn't ask for visitor fan donations to help populate the future builds like we did in the last 20 years of Diorama Builders Workshops. So me and Jamie had to bring our own figures with us. So protect. Where's my little cursor here? Oh, it's at the top. I don't know why it went there. None of the boxes placed. We placed all the figures in sandwich bags, okay, and protect them, and finished putting the dioramas in boxes at 4:45 p.m. Okay, it's 4:45 when I finished that, and I said that we were going to leave at 2, so already we're 2.5 hours past the time, which seems very much like the things that I do in my life today. So nothing has changed there. I must now take a quick shower. I'm so nervous for being this late. We wanted to avoid rush hour traffic. Oh my God, yes, that's true. Hell traffic. There's a roundabout near the Dakari Expressway that we would have had to take, and usually if there's no traffic, you can pass through that. This is in Montreal. You can pass through it in maybe 10-15 minutes, but with the traffic rush hour, you could be stuck there in 3 hours, and that's what we wanted to avoid. So anyhow, let me scroll this over here. Okay, 5:30. 5:30. Oh my God. Okay. The minivan is now all packed and looks like it's about to explode. I did a lot of stuff into it. I have never seen so much stuff shoved in the back of a car. And finally we're off. Yay! But after about 10 blocks, I realized I forgot my glasses at home. Oh no! That's so typical of me, to just rush in or start something and then realize, oh my God, I must have been so mad. I put all these exclamation points here, but I must have been really cursing in the car. I need them to drive at night, so back to the apartment we go. Oh my God. I see. This is what's fun about reading the diary, because I had completely forgotten about this, but now that I read it, I totally remember. Oh my. Okay. Back to the apartment we go. As if things aren't bad enough, my glasses are not where I usually place them. Typical. After searching every room, I found them hidden under some Star Wars Lego that I was building 3 nights before. Oh my God. Nothing has changed, has it? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Now we're off for real. Except as we feared, now stuck in rush hour, and I am going bonkers. Have you seen the movie Falling Down? Oh my God. Yeah. If you've seen Falling Down, that's probably how I was feeling in the car at that moment. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. It took about 2 hours to get out of downtown traffic. See, I was telling you, 2 to 3 hours if you're stuck in there. Oh my God. And onto the highway. Thank God we are now rolling at a good 120 kilometers an hour. All the traffic is on the opposite direction, except for lots of trucks. Did I tell you there are lots of trucks? Not many cars on the highway. I probably said that when writing the diary because I hate driving on the road with trucks. I don't remember what movie I saw, but there was this big truck crash or something, and every time I pass the trucks, I always think that the truck is going to hit me. Oh no, I think I had seen a news feature where truck tires sometimes explode, and when they explode outwards into the car passing them, and so then it could kill you if the truck wheel explodes, and that's why I have a fear of dying from a tire explosion when passing the cars, thanks to that news report from many years ago. Okay. We listen to CDs. Do you guys even know what those are anymore? Okay, if I wrote that in 2002, obviously today in 2022, a lot of people don't have CDs anymore. I know everything is streaming. I don't even have CDs. I might have sold all the CDs I owned. I listen to everything on Spotify. I used to listen to everything on iTunes. Now it's just Spotify. So I know that a lot of young people, didn't get. Pat says, as long as you did not get home only to realize they were on your head. Oh my God, that would have been terrible. Can you imagine? And that's something I would have probably done, like had my glasses like this. and then like drive and say, "Oh my God, I forgot my glasses." I have in the past looking for my glasses in the house and they were on my head. So yes, Pat, that happened to me more than on one occasion, but not this time, thank God. I think Lucy's the one who would have beat me up if that would have happened. So we drove all the way to Toronto from Montreal, 6.5 hours. Lucy's friend is letting us stay at her home to take for the night to take a rest before the long journey to Indianapolis. So that was the good thing. We were able to cut the drive in half because it was just going to be like too killer. By the time we would have reached Indianapolis, we would have like just like completely like died of tiredness, and then we wouldn't have had any energy to build any of the setup that we would have needed to do at that time, right? Okay, so let me see. It's midnight. I am in my room for the night. This house is huge. There are 11 people living here. Oh my God, I do remember that. 11 people. Can you imagine living with 11 roommates? I am experiencing the real world. Yes, well, yeah. Do you guys even know the real world? Is that show even on? That was like on MTV. I actually used to enjoy watching that show. A mattress on the floor with bare walls is not home, but it sure is better than sleeping in the car. I'll agree to that. Not to mention, there is no more room left in the car to sleep. Well, yes. And not even an ant to crawl in. Well, I think an ant would fit, but yeah, there's no way we could sleep in that. So, okay, that's the first day. Now we're going to Wednesday, May 1st, over here. It's 4:30 a.m. Oh my God. For me to even, that's when I go to bed now sometimes. To think that I'm waking up at 4:30, it takes a lot of effort for me to wake up in the morning. I am not a morning person. We rested just enough to break the trip into 2 sections. We decided to try and avoid rush hour customs going through Niagara Falls. I had never visited Niagara Falls. I don't think we saw the like the waterfalls from the customs checkpoint, and we didn't have time to start going sightseeing. So I passed through Niagara Falls, but I never got to see the actual falls. The minivan was in an indoor parking, so I was happy that nothing was stolen during our sleep. Okay, yeah, well, that's true. After a brief potty break, oops, did I really have to mention that? TMI, Frank. Yes, yeah. Well, I don't remember what I ate that night before, and I'm not going to go into details about that now. So, we got into the car and took off. Now it's 6:30, and we just, let me put that over here. Okay. It's now 6:30, and we just went through customs. That's the part I always hate going to the celebrations, because I live in Canada, so I always have to go through customs. One time, the guy, I told him I was going to set up a diorama booth for the Star Wars convention, and he was like, "You're going to work there?" And I said, "No, we're just setting up, we're doing the fan builds or for the dioramas." And then he didn't want to let me through because he said, "Oh, if you're working, you need a permit." And I'm going, "I'm not working. We're just going to the convention." So I learned quickly after that time not to say that we were organizing the celebration booth. But those are only the 2 times that we drove there. Most of the other times I just took a plane. And, okay. 6:30, we went through customs. I had a picture of my dioramas, picture of the podiums put together, and a list of every item in the minivan. The customs man asked us how much we were selling this stuff for. Oh my God. We said it's only for the exhibit. He said, "Oh, okay," and go on. Move along, and let us right through. We were scared that they would make us take out every box and inspect every item. Oh my God, can you imagine? That was a good thing that I had thought of taking photos of all the stuff so we could show them what it was before. I would have cried if I would have had to unload all the car and put it all back after. We were we were scared that they would make us take out. Okay, it pays to be prepared. Maybe it's because it was early and they didn't make a fuss. Now it's my turn to drive. We switched places and drove for about 4 hours until we got hungry. Ate some spicy chicken at Wendy's. I love the spicy chicken. Wendy's that's the only thing I really like there. I don't really like their hamburgers. Spicy chicken and the chocolate smoothies. At 11:30 a.m. Then Lucy took over again all the way to Indianapolis. Okay? 5:30. Oh, there's some red there. 5:30, we have arrived in the city. It is pouring rain. Oh, I remember that. It was really bad weather. We are pouring rain. We have no clue where the hotel was. Note, this was before Google Maps and GPS. Yes, that's right. Again, 20 years ago, no Google Maps. I don't even know if the Tam or whatever it was, the first things that were in existence there, if that existed back then. Like, it was road maps, and if you don't know how to read the road map, it's not going well, and that's kind of what we were going through, if I recall. I'm seeing Amazing Race there in the text. We're getting to that, and that's exactly how I felt. It's like me and Lucy, as much as we love each other and we are such good friends, it's like the clash started going on. Okay, I wanted to stop for directions. And usually they say that it's the man who doesn't want to stop for direction when the woman asks, right? Okay. I wanted to stop for directions and Lucy was yelling at me to stay calm. Okay, I know my panicky self does come out often. I've had many friends telling me to stay calm. I was now experiencing what it must be like to be on The Amazing Race. It's one thing for your friend to come and watch DVDs 2 hours in the dark, no talking, and dinner sometimes. But another ball game, staying together 24 hours a day, and the trip was just starting. What did I get myself into? Oh, that's funny. But I remember that specific, oh my God, we were like screaming at each other. It was hilarious. Yeah. We finally found the hotel without directions. And again, this was the first test. After this, thank God, in the contracts and Lucasfilm was organizing, putting me or reserving the hotel where it was close to the thing, because we had no idea where the convention center is. So I had to organize all this hotel stuff and myself. So I didn't know if it was 5 blocks or 5 minutes or 20 minutes away or whatnot. And yeah, it was not very close. Where did I remember? Okay, without directions in Montreal. Oh, here. Okay, and the trip was just starting. What did I get myself into? Okay. We finally found the hotel without directions. Before leaving Montreal, I was invited to a supper event at 6 p.m. and thought we were late. I had completely forgotten that there is 1 hour time zone change here. It was 4:30 p.m., not 5:30 p.m. So we crashed on the bed for an hour, and then I called David Cicillo, or I forget. I've never... it's bad. I never made a point to learn how to pronounce his last name. But he was one of the Indy Knights, the official Indianapolis Star Wars fan club, and he was a huge help. We used to chat a lot on the Ferg and stuff like that. Bed, and then I called David, one of the Indy Knights, and an excellent diorama maker to boot, yes. He gave me directions to the meeting and said it was pushed back another hour. So cool, more time for us to rest. Pat says, no response required, but oh God, something like this happened to me at C4 at the airport. Scarier scale. Okay, well, we'll have to talk about that. You should leave that in a comment. So in the, Pat, you should put that in the, send me an email, dioramaworkshop.com@gmail.com, and we'll put it in the fan experience there, the oh my God, my brain fart. I'm having a brain fart. The fan recollections. Thank you. And that would make a funny story for other people to read also. So more there, and then 7. Lucy and I got there, and 7 p.m. Lucy and I got there and were not sure where to park. We asked this young guy outside the restaurant if we're allowed to park there, and he shrugged his shoulders, said, "I think so." Took a while to find the meeting room and then was asking around if David had arrived. "There he is," someone pointed, and it was the same guy we asked about the parking outside. It's a small world, isn't it? Okay. I had never seen him in person, so I didn't know what he looked like. How funny was that? Yes. We had just met, but we did not know it at the time. Seemed we had just missed Philip Wise from Rebel Scum. He had to leave to pick up some actors at the airport for the convention. So, Philip Wise, at the time, he ran or created and ran rebelscum.com, and it was because of him, really, that I owed the last 20 years of amazing memories and stuff, because he was organizing the actors signing photo booth, and he knew Mary Franklin from Lucasfilm, and he was hosting at the time some of my diorama photos or things like that, or maybe my whole website. I forget the details. It's so long ago. So he put me in contact with Mary and said, Frank had an idea of maybe doing some arts and craft diorama things at the convention, and she thought, since the motto was for the fans, by the fans, she thought it was a great idea, and so I have him to thank for introducing me to Mary. And Mary, of course, was our biggest supporter ever since. It was the convention experience and the ease of setting up everything and organizing would have never been the same without her. So I have a huge, huge thanks for her for that. Okay, everyone seemed very excited about Celebration and had even created a giant 6-foot thank you card for the fans to sign and present to George Lucas. I remember signing that. It was it was bigger than a foam cord. It was like it was almost like, I don't know if they put it on plywood or something, but it was almost 6 feet tall or something, if I recall. At the end of the meeting, Lucy and I were starving. We had to go eat. Yeah, they had no food, had we known, at this party or dinner or get-together or thing. There was no real food here. Just as we were leaving, we were introduced to two of the coolest people I had the chance to meet during my stay in Indianapolis. Dan Ramsey and Jamie Follis. Oh, look at that. That's how I met them. Okay. I thought I had met Jamie at the actual day of the construction or whatnot. But, and then I say, note, you guys know him as Seeloff online, and the one fan who has been helping me at every workshop since. So, yes, so Jamie was into dioramas. He made lots of cool dioramas that I still haven't made to this day, like the Lars Homestead and Luke's garage where C-3PO gets his oil bath and all of that, and the cantina. And so we did lots of chatting on Ferg and stuff like that before the convention, and so meeting him in person was really cool. And Dan helped a lot with the setup and things like that. But Jamie, actually, we clicked so much that I asked him to come back at the next convention, and then next convention, and he's been my right-hand man ever since. And he's actually the one taking over with Alyssa next week or in 2 weeks for the 2022 Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders. But they changed the name to DIY Orama. So make sure to look for the banner for that. So if you see the name is different, it's the same core crew that I have. So you're in good hands for that. And they will be more than happy to give you a big hug. But I will unfortunately not be there in person. It's the first one I'm not going. And I have mixed feelings about that, but that's a story for another time. Yeah, so these guys went way beyond the limits of helping out a stranger. They offered to borrow a truck and go to get plywood sheets for the diorama, get plaster and materials for the hardware store. That was so generous. I was in awe of their kindness, and my tummy was growling, so I had time to go now and eat. But my tummy was growling, so it was time to go in now and eat. Yes. And okay, I had forgotten that they're the ones who had done that, because if you watch the documentary, you see them putting plywood on the table and different things to make it bigger, and all the plaster and all the stuff like that. In the future conventions, all of the art material and everything was pre-ordered, and I would just send it ahead of time, have it delivered at one of our friends who lived either in Florida. When it was Florida, it was Phillips, and then in LA or and stuff like that. So we would do that and not have to have people go and buy the stuff for us like that. So that phrase was really bad English. It was almost like a robot speaking. Okay. Now I put just before dinner I called Mary Franklin from Lucasfilm and told her we had just arrived. I was also nervous about leaving all the stuff in the van overnight in the hotel parking lot. Yes, that is true. Can you imagine? I had all my dioramas, all of my figures. Like, if that was all stolen, I know it's not the end of the world, but I think I would have cried just a little bit. She said, bring it now, which was really cool. So we were only 4 minutes away from the convention center. When I got there, I met Mary for the first time. Oh, that's cool. That's how the day we met. She was waiting for us at the loading dock, and for someone who had been setting up the convention all day, she looked great. Not even tired. She helped us get the diorama and podiums out of the van and showed us where we could place them for the night. Our room wasn't ready yet, so we placed everything in front of the autograph area. Now I was less stressed about tomorrow's setup and could eat in peace. Well, that's always good. When in Indianapolis, go to Rams. LOL. We had the best filet mignon in a long time. Though at $30, 50 Canadian, it better have been. Seems to me $30 today is not a lot of money, but I guess 20 years ago, $30 was a lot of money for one meal. After dinner, now almost midnight, we headed to the hotel and collapsed on our beds. It won't go into details about waking up at 3 a.m. with severe cramps. Oh no! Let's just say don't eat filet mignon at 11:30 p.m. Oh my god. Well, I guess it could have been worse. It could have been like vindaloo or some Indian food. Oh my god. Okay. So that's that day. Oof. Thursday, May 2nd, the final booth setup. Okay. Woke up at 8 a.m. Called Pat at Bates Supplies. Tell her what docking bay to send the art supplies to. Tell her to be there before noon. Went to breakfast downstairs, free including in the hotel price, then headed for the convention center. At first I was freaking at how far the hotel was, but it could not have been better. Okay, I thought it was further away, but I'm saying now that it wasn't better or whatever. Hey, Strawberry Knight, how are you? I just mentioned that I personally will not be at the convention this year. Oh, you could have left the message. It's fine. I'll reply anyway. I was saying that I won't be in person at the convention this year in 2 weeks, but my core crew is there, so there still will be. They will be continuing the tradition of the Diorama Builders, so you will be able to build with them, and they'll be glad to see you over there. I am sure. Just find Jamie. I know Jamie, Duke, and Alyssa. Jamie and Alyssa are organizing it, co-producing it together, and Duke, who has been with us since 2010, or on my team since 2010, is returning also. You'll recognize him. He's usually at the reception, and he helps out the fans when you get greeted. When he greets you at the booth entrance, and he has the blonde hair with the big beard and looks like a Viking. So sad not to be there, but I'll be there in spirit. encouraging everyone. So, yeah, I thought the hotel, in my mind, that I thought I remembered the hotel being much further, but it seems that it was closer than I thought. So, headed for the convention center after breakfast. At first, I was freaking out. Okay, got to the parking, turn right, and you are on the highway on ramp. Drive 5 minutes, and you're at the convention center. Just brilliant. Okay, well then, there you go. Now, the last time, yes, was Scarif, and they just announced that this year the theme is The Mandalorian. So I know that it's a partnership with Osmosis, I think it's called, which were the new name of that was FFG, or FFG falls under Osmosis. I think it's Osmosis. I saw it yesterday. I sent a message to Alyssa. I said, I've been telling everyone that you're partnering again with FFG, and she goes, yes, it's still FFG, but it's under a new name, and they're under a new name and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay, so, so it is the Mandalorian, and I don't have the specifics of what exactly you will be building, but it'll be scenes from the first 2 seasons of that show, so that's exciting. So, getting back to this. 9:30, just arrived, went into rooms 116, 117. I remember those numbers because we watched the documentary together yesterday or 2 nights ago. But started thinking, is this the right room? There were only 10 tables instead of the 28 we ordered, and no barrier ropes. A great start to the day. And this is my only first convention. Like, if you knew the stress and things, there's always something that goes wrong when you set up at the convention. You arrive and you go, where's all the stuff that I need? It's like, oh, well, they're bringing it later. And I go, yeah, but I have to set up now. I can't set up if I don't have those things. And you need to bring them. And then there's always, it's like so much organization. I have enough stress organizing just my booth. I can't imagine Mary organizing the whole thing. It is just like boggling. I wouldn't say boggling. I've never heard of the word boggling. So yeah, even on the very first one, we had all kinds of like little problems happening, which is not a surprise there, is it? Okay. After 15 minutes of being told to go see Mr. X, who said to go see Mrs. Z, who said to go see Mr. P, get the picture? Yeah, it sounds pretty much like every convention of the past 2 decades. I found out that the plans for the room had been changed. Oh. I have no idea who drew them, but it was not the design I had planned or was approved 2 months ago. Okay, so I know that we started the convention plans 2 months ago, if I wrote that here. So at least 2 months, if not more. 30 minutes later, I was told there was a mix-up between 2 other rooms and our stuff would come in soon. So Lucy and I started to assemble the podiums, just as David, Dan, and the other friends from Indie Nights started showing up. Yeah, room mix-ups and stuff is not out of the ordinary for convention setups and stuff like that. They offered to help start painting the podiums, which was great. During this time, I was also looking for David. I found him in the book room. Oh, is this the free book year? Hold on. I found him in the book room, setting up all the foreign books at the convention. Yes! Oh, yes. Okay, let me finish the reading and then I'll get to the story. Okay, so setting up the foreign books for the convention, grab what you can carry room, which was a great concept. Excellent idea, Lucasfilm. This alone was worth coming to the convention. And I was able to pick up some really cool reference books, including one I had never seen before, the illustrated Empire Strikes Back script. And I got the Star Wars one too. A gorgeous hardcover with the entire script and freeze frames of every scene. I was in heaven. Now, yes, that is true. The thing that when I arrived there, they had, I don't know, these donations. I don't know who donated them or whatnot, but they had all of these books, like a big room, like a huge room of books from all over the world, all over all kinds of languages, picture books, story books, all these things. And they said, you can take whatever you want. And I said, like, oh my God. And I started looking. And then I had found these 2 Star Wars books, which was basically the screenplay, but with sort of like the gum cards or like just screen snapshots. And this was before, well, VHS existed of the movie, but there was no really like reference photos that you could get for making dioramas at the time. So to find this was really amazing. The only sad thing is I couldn't find the Return of the Jedi one, and so I have one missing for the trilogy. But to have the Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, those books there, is just like amazing even today. So that was really cool. And then I got some episode 1 stuff and different things like that. So I was able to get maybe about 6-7 books that I had taken with me. So that was a really cool idea, and the way that they organized that was really nice. Okay, so now we are back at 9:30. No, I read that. Okay, 2 p.m. I'll scroll up here. 2 p.m. The podiums are painted. Yay! The main table for the diorama is complete, as well as my art. Oh, but where were my art supplies? Where was my art supplies? No surprise there, too. I called Bates' store and was told they were going to be delivered tomorrow instead. Oh my God. I can just see myself. Yeah, I say, no. Okay, if you've been seeing my videos and you know me, or you've seen me at the conventions, you know how I am when I freak out. And I say I started to freak out and panic. You must come now. Why did I call at 8 a.m. to confirm delivery? After some begging, they finally agreed to send the delivery guy now. Thank God. If the material would have arrived tomorrow, it would have been a huge disaster. Plus, there were items on the list I needed now to complete the setup. Again, David and his friends were too generous and offered to go wait by the docking bay for the truck. Yeah, that was a huge plus. Okay. The rest of us stayed in the room and started moving our tables around, and soon found out we needed our missing tables now so we could continue the setup. So it's always like a domino effect. There's like, you're missing this, so you can't do that, and then you can't do that because you have to go back and get something else. So the one thing on the setup that is a lot of stressful is that docking area, the docking bay, or whatever, how you call it, where all the trucks go and everyone unloads, all the booths, all the vendors. There's like such a mad rush of like getting your truck in there and then taking all your stuff out, and once it's all out, then you can move your truck away and then leave it for someone else to come. But then you need a special pass to get through the gate, to get to the loading gate, the convention gate where the guards are on the outside. So it's a huge nightmare and stress to wait and try to get to these docking areas. And so for the guys to say they'll go wait in my place was amazing. Especially I didn't have a core team at that time. And so, if I left the room to go and wait till that delivery guy came, then there's nothing would have been able to be done. Well, they could have done it, but I wouldn't have been able to tell them, okay, can you do this for me? Can you do this? So the fact that I was able to stay in the room, at least for that time, was really good. And so a huge thanks for them to do that. But can you imagine, like, we'll drop it off tomorrow. It's like, oh my God, I could have just seen myself, like, the panic. It's like, no, you can't do that. Oh my God. Okay. One cool thing we did was change the wet area to another corner due to there being a bathroom right across the hall. How convenient was that? Note, because of this and how practical it was, Mary has gotten us our own sinks inside our booth for all conventions since. Yes, well, okay, so that's what triggered I understand. Because in all the future conventions we had, Mary always made sure that we had a sink to go with us in our booth so that the people could clean their paintbrushes and all the different things like that. And also, what was funny is that the bathroom across was a huge perk, but also we were taking advantage of it a little too much because we were emptying all of our stuff in it that maybe we shouldn't have been doing. But yes, 20 years ago, I think I'm safe now to admit this story. I finally got to meet Philip Wise when he brought me the workshop banner. I laughed the night before when I was told by the young helpers that he was an older gentleman. Let me say that he looks a lot younger in person. Everyone seems to think because you have an internet site, you must be 20 years old. Really? I don't know. Maybe at the time. Now I had my banner. It was time for another headache to find the people who were going to hang it. Oh my God, that is like, here we go into union things, which is good for, unions are good for, can we just hang the thing? No, you have to wait, and then they're doing other things, and it could take forever to have it come, and we'll probably see the time there, but I know it was the end of the day. We were getting ready to leave, and they were hanging the banner, and they hung it upside down or on the wrong side. That was another hiccup that we discovered later on. And the wet area, we changed that to the side based on the plans. Whenever the 20 years that I've been doing the conventions, we always do plans, like a layout of the room to help Mary with the budget and all the stuff like that. But, we try to stick to it as much as we can, but it's not always doable once you're there, because on paper it looks nice, but then when you're in person, sometimes, based on the locations of the bathrooms or different things like that, it is different, and you're able to tweak little things and make little changes and stuff like that. So that makes sense that even back then I was able to do that. So 2:30 p.m. I was able to finally exchange my passes Lucasfilm provided with the badges needed to walk around without an escort. Oh, I guess, I've been having to have people come and walk me around because they would have said, "What are you doing there?" Yeah. That's also a headache through the 2 decades of doing workshops. Is the first day you have to waste a lot of time going and waiting in line. Sometimes the lines are not big, so that's good, but you have to find your way towards the war room of the production office, and then you have to find your badges for your core crew or for my staff and stuff like that, so that you can wear them around while you're doing the setup and stuff like that. But the perk is that walking around, this one was a smaller convention and we stayed in our booth, but in the future ones, when you walk around, that's the coolest day, because you're there before the public, you're getting to see everything, and it's really exciting, and the geeky nerd inside of you is finds it so oh my God, look at this, look at that. It's that is really the most fun day. And then the last day is the saddest too, because everyone's leaving and saying goodbye, but the energy on that first pre-convention day there, really, really exciting. I love that day. It's what I'm going to miss most this year. I was able to finally exchange my pass. Okay, this was an adventure into itself. Okay, I'm explaining what I'm just told you probably. This was an adventure in itself. There was so much going on. I was able to follow someone to a booth where they quickly exchanged the tickets for a C-3PO exhibitor pass. How cool was that? I was giddy like a 12-year-old kid. Yeah, like I just talked about. At least now I have to find David or some other staff. Oh, I don't have to find David or some other staff to escort me to various areas now. I must say it was fun. Let's see. I must say it was fun, and my God, the text are on my glasses. I'm having trouble reading. I must say it was fun and felt important to be able to flash a card and get anywhere we wanted to in the convention halls, to watch as Hasbro was setting up their figures, all of the toy vendors, Legos, Rubies, and this is when I fell in love. The moment I saw the new life-size Episode 2 Yoda in person, I knew I had to get him. $500 if we pre-ordered at Celebration, After the show, the price would kick in at $1,700, which to me is ridiculous, I write. But $500 was a great deal. This was the only purchase I had time for at the show. I had to get back to set up my own booth and had little time to see anything else. Okay, well, all the conventions, we always never have time to see anything. I remember seeing the Yoda, but I don't think I ended up getting him or something because he had this position from the fighting of the episode 2, and I think they had problems with the production and they never got. I do remember having a life-size Yoda. Maybe I did get him and it was just changed the sculpt. But yeah, I would have never paid $1,700 for one item, even at the time. Like, I was working at the TV station and I was making decent money, but not enough to waste at those prices. And to think that today they sell items for like $5,000-$6,000, which is crazy. Yeah, so I explained exactly what I talked about before, just the giddiness of being able to walk around and flash the badge and different things like that, and not being told, where are you going? Get away from here. And that's really cool. And that's one thing, as a geeky fan of the Star Wars, I feel very privileged and humble about the fact that I'm allowed to see behind the scenes like that. I know not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that, so I'm really grateful for all of those years doing that. 5 p.m. Hello, where are my tables, my ropes, or the union dudes to hang up my banner? Because, we are forbidden to do any of the work ourselves, yeah. Outside, it is now chaos as everyone and their mother is trying to get ready for tomorrow. At least I was in an enclosed room, and once inside, felt safe, less panic, like the eye of a hurricane. Quiet, no stress or noise from the outside, except for her own stress. But yeah, I get what I was saying to myself there. Only the knots in my stomach. Where is my stuff? At least the Bates art supplies had arrived during my Yoda purchase. Okay, which is good. Thank God, some good news. We could at least start mounting the photos and banners while waiting for the tables, etc. Then I say, with all this chaos and running around, I totally forgot about getting in contact with Eric and Joe. Okay, Joe and Mary. Oh, Eric Plummer, I think. Yeah, there is his name. See, I remembered the last names. They are bringing in their personal dioramas for the exhibit display. I call my hotel and get a message from Eric Plummer. Great news is that his hotel is across the street. 15 minutes later, he came by and brought me the most impressive Tantive 4 diorama I had ever seen. Or I ever saw. But ever seen. To see this in person is 500 times better than the pictures he had sent me for the site's visitors gallery. I was most impressed, and now know I must make my own Tantive hallway diorama really soon. Yes, and I still have not made it. So that shows you my procrastination. Many of you know a lot about my procrastination now. Not, apart from the fact that I wish I could call myself to do more work faster and sooner, there is a procrastination part to me as well. Yeah, so I didn't want the diorama gallery to be just about myself, like, look at me, like, I'm not that kind of person, really. So I had put some feelers on my website to let people know if you were in the area or coming to the convention and able to bring your diorama, bring it, and we'll place it along mine in order to have people take photo ops and stuff like that. And yeah, this was before a long time ago. Well, this was a long time ago. 20 years ago, Eric's Tantive, I think, was one of the first ones built. I had never seen a Tantive diorama before that one. And then Joe is the one who did the Jedi Council. Let me see, where am I now? My nose all stuffed up. It's like plugged up. I went into I haven't caught, with the mask wearing from the COVID and stuff, I haven't caught in a cold or anything in the last 2 years, and I went to the pharmacy or the grocery store yesterday, and I didn't put my mask on, and I'm thinking, like, did I catch a cold? You know, like, how ironic would that be for the first time after not wearing a mask? Hey, um, 30 minutes after Eric left, I got in contact with Joe Amaro. He is staying at the same hotel as we are. How weird is that? He bought his Jedi Council. Oh, he brought his Jedi Council all the way from Texas. I was very excited seeing his council in person because it was Joe's customs that inspired me to make my own. Yes, I took all of his tips and tricks. He showed me how he had made his custom sitting Jedi, and that's what I used for my own diorama. I even modeled the look of mine after his. I just said that. Joe arrived around 7 p.m. At the time, Wizards brought me my missing tables and rope. Oh my god, they came at 7 o'clock to bring that? Okay, I thought we had been kicked out before, but that always happens. The setup day is always till at least 9, 10 o'clock sometimes throughout the years. We can now finish setting up. The setup is so stressful and takes so much time that towards the future conventions and stuff like that, I ended up where I would do 2 days of setup, where I would fly in actually 2 days before the show so that I wouldn't waste half of the setup day arriving in my the plane arriving, then driving to the hotel, dropping off my luggage, and then going to the convention center. So I do all of that stuff the day before. I used to do that the day before, and then the day actually before the convention, or the day before I would arrive, then the day before the convention. You guys know what I'm trying to say. And and then that way I have a full day of setting up and all the stuff like that. That became a really good routine, and it allowed us extra time to be with my friends of the core crew who have become more a family. We became like really close after decades, you know. It's a really neat perk to have. So they came to bring the tables at 7. At 9:30 p.m., the union guys came to install my giant banner. I remember that last thing. It is most impressive hanging from the ceiling. And then I said, little did I know that they were hanging it facing the wrong direction. The fans waiting in line are walking towards the back of the banner, which is blank. So no one knew we were inside the room unless they poked their heads into the hallway or the doorway. Jeez. After placing all the biography cards on the stands and the figures and the respective dioramas, it was now time to go home. Well, to the hotel. The room was ready. I had been so busy. I had not eaten all day. That always happens at the show. Run, never eat at night, and even during the day, snacking. It's like you don't have time. No filet mignon for me tonight. Must wake up early. Tomorrow, day 1 of celebration 2. How exciting is that? It's like, I can't even think of like, I'm trying to remember what it was like the day before. I probably did sleep okay, but like just the excitement of seeing like how everything was going to be set up and all of that. So yeah, but 9:30, that was late. Oh, 1:15, okay, 1:15 a.m. Oh, we stopped off at the 7. Did I read that? I didn't. I'm just realizing it now. I guess I was talking too much to you and not even listening to my own reading of the things. But it said 1:15, stopped at 7-Eleven, got bottled water, egg sandwich. Nice. I love egg sandwich. Don't get me wrong. I still eat them today. So, okay. That was exciting. Okay, so now we're going to go to the first day of the convention. Friday, May 3rd. Okay. Woke up at 8:30. No, woke up at 8. Ate breakfast with Joe at the hotel. Public opening was at 10 a.m. So we left the hotel at 9. Arrived at the convention center and could not believe how many people were in line. It went all the way around the stadium-sized building. If you watch the documentary, the lost footage documentary, you'll see just how many people were there. It was insane. The perks of having an exhibitor pass. When I got to the room, I was shocked and angry. Oh, the perks. Oh, hold on. We were talking 5 city blocks. We found a parking across the street and went straight in. The perks of having an exhibitor pass. Okay. God, you'd think I never was able to learn to read. When I got into the room, I was shocked and angry. The doors to our room were wide open. I was told they would be locked until my arrival, since we had thousands of dollars worth of art supplies, not to mention our own kind of one-of-a-kind dioramas. Anyone could have entered and stolen all the custom figures or dioramas or material supplies. This would have been the start of many problems in keeping the room locked during closing hours. Fortunately, Indie Nights guys arrived an hour before us and kept an eye on the room. There were many people walking around the halls. I was not too happy at this point. After talking to security, I was promised the doors would stay locked until I arrive in the morning. Good, one problem solved. Well, if I recall, that promise did not last very long, because the other nights they kept the doors open still, and yeah, I was not happy about that, because it was kind of like a ballroom, and then people were just like walking through to go, like you had like the room, here's our room, but there's another room here, and then another room there, and so the people would just walk from this room, walk through ours, and then walk out the other direction instead of going all the way around. But then you're going like, hello. Anyone could like say, oh, look at all this stuff, and then like take it if they wanted to. We've had many people steal stuff from our booths, including adults, parents with their kids. And so there's always some bad eggs that come to the convention and stuff like that. But you can't control that, really. But that was not the end of that, I don't think. I dropped off my t-shirts at the Rebel Scum Force Net table. This is the only time I will be able to leave the Diorama Workshop room. 11 a.m. rolls by, and then noon, and then 1. No one is coming to make a building. This is going to be a disaster. I remember the feeling, exactly what was happening. Tons of fans walking past, taking pictures of the Diorama exhibit, but leaving. I am thinking the worst. We will have 3 houses in the final diorama. Jason Garner arrives at 1:30 with his 2 dioramas that he filled out the missing podiums of the display, Bespin Boiler and the Dagobah scene with Luke and Yoda. The cool thing about his dioramas is that they are encased in 12-inch deluxe boxes. A really cool idea. Are you reading this, Hasbro? It was great to finally meet. Oh, they did do the box for the Luke's X-Wing diorama, or X-Wing Dagobah, kind of like that. It was finally nice to meet Jason in person. For almost 2 years now, we have been chatting and reading emails from friends made online, but to finally put a face on the name is priceless. Yeah, that's one of the cool things about going to the convention as well. And so the thing is that once you meet people at the show, in the future when they send you an email, or if you're chatting in the chat rooms at the time, because there was no Facebook and social media, you're able to hear their voice when you're reading their text. Does that make sense? So you have more of a connection and stuff like that. So yeah, and then when I said it was going to be a disaster, because this was the first convention, I mentioned it somewhere in the past couple of days, I didn't realize that they had opening ceremonies, and so everyone was at the opening ceremonies, and then after the opening ceremonies they walk around to see what it looks like, and then they would come to us and start building, and that's why there was no one early on. So that's why I was like in the panic saying like, oh, we're going to have all this space for a diorama and we're going to have just the 3 buildings. 3 p.m., which is still, the middle of the day now, but 3 p.m. opening ceremony is now over, and a lot of people have found their Sakul figures, which was George Lucas spelled backwards as a stormtrooper disguise, carded figure, not to be sold in stores. I have it there on the wall. Slowly people are coming in and asking how they can make something for the diorama. I gave each person a sheet of foam core, a template for the dimension of the base, and a template for the door height so figures will fit inside. The rest of the building, height, shape, design, details, is up to the creator's imagination. That's what I'm explaining in the tutorials that we started filming live, or I started filming live 3 days ago. And then we'll be able to, I still have the big building to film and put up a tutorial later during the week, hopefully. So that's how none of the buildings were exactly the same, because we weren't telling them you need to do exactly A, B, C, D. So just the major dimensions, the 2 sizes, and it worked out really well. Blah, blah, blah. I had some photo references of Mos Eisley, but they were not trying to make the exact identical copies of existing buildings. 2 hours later, around 5, there is no more table space for people to sit and work. Yeah, we actually have a lineup piling up outside waiting to come in. The early birds have finished assembling their houses, and the hot glue guns have been moved onto the plaster wet area. Why would I have done that? Put hot glue, electrical hot glue with wet area. That doesn't seem very smart. It is so cool to see how people's imaginations bring plain foam core to life. Some buildings are way beyond my expectations. Yes, that is true. Again, check the videos and the photos on the website. It is very exciting, and there's a buzz in the air now. Convention closes for the public at 6, but I decided to let people finish their plastering so it would dry during the night. 7:30 p.m. we decided to start pushing people out. I need to eat, you know. Maureen from Team Rebel Scum is actually the first person to finish a house including painting. Talk about fast learner. So yeah, that's how it happens usually. It was the first time, though, for me seeing a lineup of people coming in, which was very flattering, and it was like, really nice to see that I was soulagé, as we say in French. There, I was relieved that it's going to work out well now. It's like we're not going to have the problem of having the only 3 buildings constructed, and so. Everything was coming, together the way that I had imagined it in my head when we started playing this with Lucasfilm, or when I gave them the pitch. So it's 9 p.m. My feet are killing me. I am very tired and ate nothing all day. It's amazing how you don't think of food when you're kept so busy. Yeah. We have about 12 houses plastered and another 4 or 5 ready for plastering tomorrow. People were amazing. All I want to do is go to the hotel, but I must wait for security to come and lock the doors. Suddenly, strangers start popping open the emergency fire exits. See, I told you. I remember that. What is this, they would say. We find out that our war room connects with the room that has the Star Wars digital projections. Yeah, I'm starting to remember that now. They are showing Empire Strikes Back tonight, and there is no way to lock our doors. Anyone can come in. Not good. After waiting for more than an hour, security shows up and tells us they will post someone at the outside door to prevent people from entering the Diorama Workshop and stealing our stuff. That takes another 15-20 minutes. Finally, someone sets up a chair and locks the front doors. I feel relaxed. We can leave and go eat supper. It's now 10:30 p.m. I was saying 9. It took an hour and a half. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's what it is. You can't plan things to the minute. Get to the hotel after dinner. It is now 11:30. Time for bed. Tomorrow fan club gets in at 9. 1 hour before the general public. Have to be inside the room before 8 a.m. to prepare. That's all the last 2 decades. That's the time we always get there. We wake up at 7, 6:30, 7, go to breakfast at the hotel, my whole core crew, and then we would all together go make sure we're at the booth for 8. So finish cleaning up, finish setting up for the public to arrive and stuff like that. That was nothing much has changed there. Saturday, May 4th, convention day 2. Okay, today there is a real marathon on the same street as the convention. Did you see the videos or the photos? I remember going like, good city planning there. Knowing this, we decide to try to bypass it by leaving extra early, 7 a.m. Get to the convention center at 7:10, and all streets are blocked. I was so mad. Lucy lets me out of the minivan, and I will try to find parking. Oh, and she will try to find parking while I set up for the morning. I walk up to the room and find it unlocked again. Aha! WTF. Uh-huh. Told you. I remembered that. No one is inside. What is last night's security guard? Where is last night's security guard? I close the doors, clean up a little. I decide to put my limited for sale t-shirts on the wall since no one can see them at the Rebel Scum table. Because he was putting them behind, or I don't remember where they were. He was selling his own stuff. And I was only allowed 10. I was allowed to sell 10 or something like that. And Pat says he said that a while, but Mary absolutely effing rocked. She is the bomb. And when she left, the conventions were not the same since. And so we owe it all to Mary. T-shirts. Okay. 9 a.m. Doors open. Frenzy outside as lineup for Carrie Fisher autographs passes right outside the hall, blocking the entrance to our room. I wrote netrance, but entrance to our room. This is when I find out that the banner was facing the wrong direction. Too late now to fix it. At least there is a small foam core mounted sign by the wall outside the door. People start flooding in to take video and pictures of the diorama exhibit. Many who visited Nyum Nyubs, which was the name of my first website, come to tell me how cool it is to see them in person after seeing them online. It's great to see fan reaction in person. I got a lot of feedback on what scenes to create next. He said, I wrote, Lucy finds it extremely bizarre that, 1, people recognize me from coming to the site, and 2, want a photo and autograph of me. Well, I found it odd too. It is an odd thing when people say, can I have your autograph? And you're going like, me? But to some people, they think that it's really cool to meet me and different things like that. So anyhow, this is very funny reading this of Lucy, because she knows me since university. Like, I'm her good friend, It's like, to me, I'm not, or to her, I'm not a celebrity or anything. I'm far from celebrity even today, even though, like, I find it very hard when people write, comments. They'll say like, oh, Master Frank or all these things, and I'm going like, okay, yes, I've been doing dioramas a long time, but it's like I have trouble taking in those compliments sometimes. But yes, I remember Lucy's face finding that. It was very funny. The people who built houses yesterday come in early and are ready to paint. Around 10:30 a.m., the room is filled to capacity with people wanting to help make Mos Eisley. Again, no more space at the tables. People must stand and wait for others to move to the plaster and paint areas. By noon, there are so many people, we run out of plaster bandages. Okay, so this was the day. I know that we ran out, and it was not good. But I had not expected to be so many people, so that was a good thing. And it proved that our concept was a success at this point. Yikes, not good. We had over 75 rolls. No time to freak out. I must improvise and do papier-mâché test. It works. Not perfect, but better than stopping production. True? Since the surface will be covered with plaster of Paris anyhow, it doesn't matter how ugly the base coat looks. Yes, I can't disagree with that. You see, since the plaster of Paris does not stick well to the foam core and sides and slides off, you must apply a first coat of plaster bandages or papier-mâché so that the plaster will stick to it and not fall off. It is really touching to see so many fans getting into diorama building. The fear I had yesterday morning that we would be a huge flop has now disappeared. Yes, which was a good feeling at the time, and and a very good success, having been asked to return all these years every single convention. So the papier-mâché was like, we had people bringing in their newspapers and stuff like that. It wasn't the best technique, but if you put plaster of Paris directly onto foam core or a slick surface, it just slides off like ice. So that's why you have to put like a pre-step, like either plaster bandages, or put some like little anchors, like hot glue, some little foam core scrap dots, so that when you put the plaster, it'll anchor onto it like that, instead of like, if it was flat, it slides, but the anchors, then it can't fall, right? So there you go for that. 5 p.m. We have no space to paint. So we moved some tables around to create a drying area. Yeah, we have that. We learned that to do that in all future conventions as well. We managed to place about 20 houses and make up a lot of room for the wet area. The funny thing is, people who were just entering the room thought that the houses drying was the finished Mos Eisley diorama. Oh, I remember that. They were all shocked when I said, no, this is... the final scene would be 6 times this size. People again stayed till 7 o'clock, and then I had to kick them out because I had gotten tickets for the Star Wars concert. Oh my God, the Star Wars concert. Okay, we left the room all dirty and full of scraps on the floor to the morning. Okay. Do I talk about the concert here? I guess, okay, let me go. Let me read the rest of the day, and then if I don't go into the details, I'll talk to you about the concert experience, which was very funny. And one of the only things that we got to see, because when I go to the convention, it's a double-edged sword. I have to organize my booth, so I don't get to see a lot of what you guys are seeing. And so I'm stuck inside my room. The few times that I was able to go out was like this concert for the first time, but that was like one of the last ones. But anyhow, so 8:30 p.m. we got to the ballroom, and as exhibitors, we were able to cut in line. Sorry, guys, but it was nice to be able to do that and get our seats. Sorry to all those who had waited 3 hours. Yes, that's the one perk that we've had when you have your badges and you work as an exhibitor and you're working at the show, is that you can cut through lines and stuff like that. Not all of them, but a lot of them. You have all access and stuff like that. And so, okay, bye. See you soon, Patrick. I'll give you a shout. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the passes allow you to go in and stuff that you don't have to wait lines. If I would have had to wait all the lines to get in the morning and to go see all the different, wait in line in all the queues to see everything, I don't even know if I would have gone to any of the Star Wars celebrations, to be honest with you. I would not have had the patience, but working behind the scenes, it's a cool perk. Sitting in front of us was Steve Sansweet from Lucasfilm, Rancho Obi-Wan. He wrote just about every cool Star Wars book there is. Yes, I agree with that. If you don't have the action figure archives in your collection, get a copy now. Yes, that is true. 2 rows in back of us was Warwick Davis, which is Wicket, and Willow. David Prowse, Darth Vader, who I was surprised to see was shorter than I was. Really? That's odd, because I'm only 5'11". I thought Darth Vader was like 6'4" or something. And Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, and several of the Imperial officer actors. There were rumors that John Williams was attending, but sadly it was not true. Yeah, it was not John Williams. The first set was the best. Episode 4 is still the best of all of the soundtracks. I can close my eyes and see the entire movie with the dialogue and sound effects pass in my brain. That is true. I've listened to that soundtrack. I still have the vinyl today. And I can close my eyes and listen to Princess Leia's theme, whatever it is, the Jawas, and I know exactly what happened in the movie during that time. Like, da, 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 you know that it's the transition. And so, like, that is, Yes. Pat says, I love my Montreal trilingual accent. Well, a lot of people, I never thought I had an accent. Some people there was a person I met from Australia once and didn't believe I was from Montreal because he said I didn't have an accent or I had an accent I don't believe I have an accent, but I know that people have accents, not as strong as British accents or different things like that, but I guess if you're from another region, you're not used to hearing the way I speak. I think I speak more ping-ponging one from one subject to the other, which is more sort of like like confusing or whatnot. But anyhow, you didn't have to remove your message, Pat. It doesn't matter. It's not making fun of my accent. I'm just saying that other people, I find some people have accents, but me, for myself, if I listen to myself, I don't feel I have an accent. But that's just me. So okay, so there were rumors. Let me see. There were rumors of John Will. Okay, the first set was the best, episode 4, several times, and I must, because we know this music so much, it's easy to tell when someone hit a wrong note. Okay. So then, so this was not a orchestra like the Philharmonic or is that how you say it? The Philharmonic? No, that sounds odd. I'm saying it wrong, but. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. And it was not a main huge orchestra that they used in the movie. This was almost like I don't want to insult the people who were there because I don't remember the details or specifically, but it was almost like if it was a high school band orchestra, kind of. I don't want to say amateurish because they were very good, but the problem was that when you're listening to the soundtrack, you'll have 20 violins, 10 tubas, 6 drums, all these things like that. And so they only had like 2 violins, 3 of this, and 1 cello. So like it didn't have the volume or the oomph, the power of the orchestra that you hear that you're used to on the, I was going to say CD, on the album. So if you listen to the music a lot, then you can identify difference, in what they were playing. And so then I said, it is because we know the music so much, it's easy to tell when someone hit a wrong note. And then I put several times. I think I was looking at Lucy a lot of times going like, Lucy's a musician also. So like we were kind of like, and I must admit I was a bit disappointed by the tin sound. And then I'm saying exactly what I just explained to you. When you listen to the CD or LP, there are maybe 60 or more violins, and in this orchestra there was maybe 12. They were playing the notes from Star Wars, but it wasn't Star Wars, if you get my meaning. So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the power, of the thing. And then Duel of the Fates was sung by a choir of 15 people. Oh, I remember that. That was... Is it mean to say it was kind of cringing at that point? But I don't like. I was gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say because I was gonna say it. But I was gonna say I don't like to complain. But as you know, that's probably everything I do now. Maybe in the past when I was younger, I didn't complain. I didn't like to complain as much, but it seems that all I do now is gripe and complain. My friends say, "Oh, you should create another channel on YouTube to review and gripe about everything that's bad about Hollywood and stuff now." And I'm going like, I don't even have time to do my own stuff for my Diorama channel. If I started another channel for watching movies and complaining about how bad Star Trek and all the different shows are, I would have no time to do anything. But yes, so this is what I'm saying. It was missing the oomph, the lung power. I did like the selection of the encores though. Ending with the victory celebration theme of New Hope was really cool, aside from some corny passages like R2 dancing. I was happy to have attended the concert. Okay, I don't remember. I must have burned it out of my brain. I don't remember R2-D2 dancing on the stage. Oh my god. Maybe that was a precursor of what they're doing at Disney stages now or something. I don't know. And more happy that the tickets were only $10. Can you imagine $10 for a Star Wars concert? But again, it wasn't a huge orchestra, but still. Go to the hotel, take a shower, go to bed, last day tomorrow. So, yeah, the Duel of the Fates, you know how you listen to the soundtrack and they go, there's those voices, you know, like hala hula ha, ha. There's a video, I have to remember, I don't remember where it is. I don't even know what it's called, but someone had put subtitles of the words from it's like a comedy video, but it was like he wrote like hot dog, sauerkraut, whatever, all these like weird, like scene specific words that you know are not in the song, but when you read the word and you hear the music, it sounded like they were really saying like hot dog, but you know that's not what they're saying. But anyway, that's a funny video, you have to look that up. But anyhow, so the whole power again, the whole power of of that chorus, it just fell flat. It was not really good. It was good that they attempted to do it because episode 1 was out at the time. But anyhow, Sunday, May 5th, Convention Day 3. Okay. We decided to check out this morning and try to go all the way home instead of spending another $150 for the hotel and arriving in Montreal at 2 a.m. Again, we met Joe for breakfast, left the hotel at 8 a.m. with all of our luggage in tow. Total cost $420. Not bad. It will come to 630 Canadian. Damn Canadian exchange. Yes, well, still to this day, there were some years where the Canadian dollar was worth more than US. Those were good years for us shopping. But yeah, not fun when if you lived in the States and what you take out of your bank account is $400 and what I take out from my account is $600. You get to use $200 to go buy some toys or buy something else. So that's always, not enjoyable over there. Doors open at 9, and 3 people are waiting outside to paint their houses. Today at noon is the drawing, and we want to be ready for the figures so that we want to be ready with the figures so that there will be at least 3 hours of display for the photo ops before the convention shuts down. We decide that 10:30, what isn't painted will get painted by the helpers. It's the only way to finish in time. Yeah, we didn't want buildings that weren't painted to just sit there, and the people took the time to make them, and it was going to help make the scene even bigger. So there is another insane lineup outside our room for Carrie Fisher autographs. Those autographs probably worth a lot now with her tragic passing. It's totally nuts, as many people waiting in line since 3 a.m. 3 a.m.? Jeez, would you wait from 3 a.m. until 9 a.m. for an autograph? I don't think I would do that. Did not know you had to wait for another line to buy your coupon first. I'm glad I did not want an autograph. By 10 a.m., we have many more people than the previous days ready to help. We start by moving the big table so that the diorama will be closer to the front doors. After that, I assign a painting crew to paint anything white. Really? What was that? Paint white? What would needed to be white? I don't understand what I said there, and I'm trying to remember in my mind why I would have to paint it white when... Oh! Maybe I wanted to paint white, so when we put the sawdust, if there was areas between the sawdust, it would be white instead of dark. I don't know. This makes no sense to me at this moment. The rest of us spray adhesive to the plywood surfaces so that we can sprinkle the sawdust on top and not have it fly all over the room. That makes sense. I do remember that. You see it in the documentary. 11 a.m., 1 hour before the drawing. Over here. We start placing all the dry buildings. The only major problem, our cantina, which is a giveaway, is about 40% done. That was a nightmare. That was a lot. We bit off a lot more than we could chew with that one. Jamie and his emergency crew. Emergency is right. Decide to mix the paint and the plaster together to save time. Worst case scenario, cantina will be wet if the the cantina will wet. Cantina will be wet in the display, but will at least look cool. Yes, agree, and that's what ended up happening. Meanwhile, the rest of us continue to figure out where to place the buildings, moving one here. No, this one looks better there. Wait, what about that one here? Time is getting short and the room is getting very, very crowded. People are signing up for the drawing and are gathered around watching every detail as we finish putting Mos Eisley together. Only 10 minutes left before noon. 10 minutes now. There's no cantina. And I don't even think we put the figures yet, even at this point. 10 minutes left before noon. You can feel the stress in the room. Okay, it wasn't that stressful. Like magic, everything is coming to fit perfectly together. Jamie and his gang finish the cantina and plop it in its spot, still gross and wet. I like how I use the word gross. This was all like slimy and gross. 5 or 6 of us brought our Hasbro figures. Oh, I thought it was only me and Jamie. Okay, that's cool that there were more help for that. Probably some of the Indie Night people. Customs starting to place them in the diorama. Mos Eisley is coming to life before our very eyes. It was really impressive how the figures give life to an empty space. I look at the finished scene and cannot believe what people have created from scratch in only 1.5 days. It really is incredible to see. And more so all the talent people don't realize. Oh, and more so all the talent the people don't realize they possess. Again, on Friday, I thought this would never work, but you guys and girls proved me wrong. Bravo. So I have to agree with that. It did blow our expectations. It was a lot better than we thought. And the figures, like when any diorama, if you've built a diorama before, it's like a Barbie house or it's like a home. If there's no people or action figures in it, it looks very sterile. It's cold. It's like it doesn't look that impressive. When you start placing the figures inside the diorama, that's when it comes to life and it starts to look like the movie. And that's what I mentioned over here. And to be able to, the fact that we were able to bring enough figures from the 4 or 5 people that it said, 5, 6, to fill the space, because we had like a huge table, more than 16 by 20 feet or something, if I recall. And so that was like a really neat thing. So yeah, and the people, when I say that people's talent, a lot of people think, they come to me and they say, oh, I could never build a diorama. I've never made one before. And I said, like, look, you give it a try. Like, the more, and then they'll say, oh, but it's not as good as yours. And I go like, look, the ones I started 20 years, 25 years ago were not as good as the ones today. It takes practice. And then the more you do, the more skills improve. And then you'll get better and better. And that's what's exciting, because you'll start saying like, oh, look how much this looks better than the last one. And then you eventually down the line, you'll redo the ones that you did at first. And it's just like modeling or collecting of that you used to do when you were younger, or some people did as adults. It's just like a fun hobby. It's like a very reduces the stress, and it brings you a lot of joy when you see it on display. And yes, figures on card look really cool. I have it all here displayed behind me, or well, behind the camera, so that I look at when I'm working on my computer, and that's really cool. But to have them in actual movie sets is what is really for me the proper way and the coolest way to display your collection and stuff like that. So at precisely noon, where are we? Over here. At precisely noon, Mary from Lucasfilm was gracious enough to come and pick the names for the winners who could take home the cantina and the docking bay sections. It was great that the winners came to the show by car, because then they were able to bring it home. I don't know if they kept it. The cantina was all wet and gross, so I don't know if they left it there. I don't know how a stewardess would have reacted to seeing a cantina as a carry-on luggage. After the drawing, there were so many flashes going on. It was very cool. I felt happy for all of those who worked on Mos Eisley to know how much people loved the result enough to want to take so many pictures. Having Steve Sansweet and Ben Burt did all the sound effects, the design of the sound effects for the original Star Wars movies. With his daughter was awesome. I am so happy I had this opportunity to come organize this workshop. So again, yes, it was the geeky side of me was so appreciative, and like to be able to have this opportunity as a fan was beyond, it was really like a big birthday present to my son that Mary gave to me, in a sense of being able to do this for you guys. And then for to see all of the people, and what I did say in the earlier there when it said that it's hard to believe that people made this from scratch in 1.5 days. So many conventions, like when you've come to more than one convention and you know about our diorama builders, you know how it works, that the people come and build. We do the prototypes, they build, and in the 3 days, 2-3 days of the convention, all the builds are put together to form a giant diorama. A lot of people, including this one, well, this was the first, so of course it makes sense, but a lot of people coming back in the past or throughout the years thought that everything was built at home and we just brought all the stuff and then set it up on the tables. A lot of people, I don't say no one, but a lot of people, they don't realize, or they find it hard to believe that this was made at the show by kids and their parents, or just adults and fans and hobbyists and stuff like that. They thought it was all just like, oh, we made 300 buildings in Montreal, put it in bags and drove it or sent it by freight or something like that. So that is the cool thing, when you see all the fans come together and build something, a little section, a big team, make a huge product. It's really, really cool. And the fact that even starting this year, which was the concept, and it's the concept that we used throughout all the decades of doing the conventions, is that the little section, the little cantina building, or the little whatever it is, Bespin or Death Star, the little section that you made at the show, you get to, after the public viewing at the end of the day on Friday, on the end of the day on Sunday, usually it's Sunday, the last day, you get an hour before everyone leaves or the convention closes. It's the dismantling of the diorama, which is the saddest part all the time. And so you're able to come and pick up the item you made, and you're able to bring it home with you as a souvenir. And so that is really cool. We've been able to do that from the beginning. So if you want, then with having the instructions from the show, my procrastination, not all the instructions are still on after all these years. I'm trying to get there now that I have the time and the YouTube, and that's why I'm catching up with, I just made a big, that's why I'm trying to catch up with the tutorials now and stuff like that. But the, God, I lost my track of thought with thinking of that spit that I saw like land on my keyboard. Swallow my spit, relax, talk less fast. So what was I saying? So the people bringing the things home. There was one sad part when we did the Death Star surface with Hot Wheels that year. There was a family who had come to every single convention from the start. And every year they built a section, brought it home as a souvenir. They have a shelf, shrine, they joked about. Well, they used the word shrine. They made a shelf where they displayed all of the things that they made. And then at this show, they had made a turret with a little motor and it spun. It was really cool. And someone stole it. Oh, I felt so bad for them, and I was really mad that with all the chaos going on, some of the volunteers, they didn't look underneath to see the name and ask if the name matched or whatever, and someone by mistake either gave it or these people stole it, took it, I don't know. But they came to see me and they go, "Where's our build?" And I said, "I don't know where it went." And so they now have a hole in their collection because they came to build at Scariff and they were able to bring that home last convention. So I know that feeling. I am such a not perfectionist, not the word, completionist. Is that a word? Where, you know, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're missing 7, and then you go to 8, it's like, instead of looking at all the beauty of the other ones, I'm just looking at that 7 and going like, oh, there's a space missing there. Like it just, like an itch, like a mosquito itch. And so that, I felt really bad for them at that point. But that was the fun part of doing the conventions, is to allow the people to come and pick up their things. So Masaisi would have been nothing without all who helped out. Thank you to David Sicillo, Dan Ramsey, Jamie Follis, Joe Amaro, Eric Plummer, Jason Garner, Bob Collins, Chris Kelso, Bill Cox. See, I'm reading names now and I'm starting to associate that with the documentary we watched 2 nights ago. In the lost footage, I remember, I know whose name is attached to who now because it's ringing, or it's creating some circuits in my head. Or, oh my God, let's just keep giving the credits, shall we? Bill Cox, Kevin Watts, Mary E.K., Kate, Mary Kate, Bradley Wiseman, Eugene O'Reilly, Phil O'Reilly, Dave Hannenbaum, Kim Hannenbaum, Alec Castle, Austin Castle, Rob Castle, Michael Thomas, Daniel Lynn, Kevin Lenning, Greg Suez, Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor has come to all the conventions, and I have a photo in one of the Throwback Thursdays of or was it? Hold on, was that I'm losing my track of thought. Chris Taylor, Dave Chishello, Chris Sharp, Brian Borgman, Craig Schaefer, Thad Boyer, Harry J. Pell, Scott Carrier, Ken Falkson, Bill Corey, Ellie Spry. He helped us at the 2012 convention, bringing his Jabba Palace and stuff like that. Kevin Michael, David Michael, Laura Shepard, Martin Dollinger, Jonah Comstock, Nathan Comstock, Stephen Black, EMT, Mullen, Steve Botten, Chris Pelletier, Nate Gerard, Adams Family, the Adams Family. It's not a real person that signed. These are from the guest book, I'm assuming, because I would have never remembered all these names of people. But Aaron Weisner, Reed Martin, L. Skyless, Bill Thomas, Brad Comack, Jack Comack, Aaron Feder, Wendy Ostrander, Andrew Straw, Renee Lerner, Austin Lerner, oh, I remember them, Evan Odell, Paul Crowder, Christian Crowder, Paola Vauci, which was the Italian lady, I think. It sounds Italian anyway. And of course, I would never have done this without Lucie Trudel. Oh, that's mean. I botched her name because I was saying it in English. Lucie Trudel, which is the way that you pronounce her name. My Montreal accomplice. Yes, very, very true. And I was talking about Chris earlier. He had like these huge, like Elvis type sideburns there. And there's a Throwback Thursday photo of him where he came to the Scariff, the last convention, and he's building, and then like to show him what he looked like at the first convention, and then all these years, decades later, it was very funny to see that. 3:30. People started taking the houses with them. See, that's what I just finished explaining. What a perfect souvenir to an awesome weekend. People's response was great. They could not believe that there was no lineup most of the time and that it was free. A lot of people, we are one of the few free events at the Star Wars celebrations, and a lot of people, they see all the art supplies and what the people are building, the arts and craft, and they go like, how much is this booth? How much do we have to pay to come build? And you go like, it's free. There's nothing. All the art supplies are paid by Lucasfilm and Reed, and they're like, what? Free? And you go, yeah. All you have to do is choose what you want to make. And then when you get home, that's why a lot of the materials and stuff, when I do my designs, you could design them to look more like ILM perfection models, right? But I want to design them with materials and art supplies that you can go, when you get home, you can go to dollar store, you can go to Home Depot, wherever, art supply stores, Michael's, and you be able to refine the materials so that you can continue at home what you started at the show, so that you could continue your diorama and do the builds that you didn't have time to build at the show maybe, but you want to still have fun making. So that's the plan. That's the reasoning there for the free materials and stuff like that. It was sad to see the diorama crumbling down in 30 minutes when the convention was over. It's always sad to see that. It's like, oh, it's like very emotional. During the future years, not this year because we brought our own toys, but when people did fan donations and Hasbro gave us toys from their China warehouses and stuff like that, on the Sunday when it was teardown, it was drawings for all the big ships, all of the big items we would give away as drawings to the kids. So the kids got to bring back a shuttle, Boba Fett Slave 1, all these different things like that. Hey, Carlos! Busy week. Yes, I'm very supposed to do all these things, but I said better late than never, and you can never, you could continue celebrating the 20th anniversary beyond the 3 days that represent the convention, right? So that's why we're doing this today, 2 days past where I was supposed to do it, but anyhow, so yeah, teardown is always a sad part. I can't believe how fast it all passed. I agree. Every convention is the same. We started cleaning up and picking up after all the stuff that I was bringing home. I donated the podiums to the Indie Knights so they could display their own work at home. It's nice that they being reused. I wonder how many still have that 20 years later. Plus, I was all too happy not to have to carry those babies back in the minivan with us. And well, I think it's more a selfish thing of not wanting to bring them back than to offer them. I'm happy to offer because I didn't have the space at home and that, but I did not feel at the end of the convention, the last thing you want to do is reload more than you need to in your suitcase and in your van and stuff like that. So that was cool. At 5 p.m., they were taking down the banners, and I was most happy to find out that I could keep mine. What a great item for eBay. Ha ha ha, just kidding. I still have it. I never sold it. I don't plan on selling it. It's in my storage in the back, and I'd like to hang it sometime, but I don't know where I would hang it. I don't have the space here at the moment. But yeah, I still have it. I would never sell my banner. Yeah, I still have it preciously. There you go. Dan Curto found me an official mounted Diorama Workshop sign that we're more than happy to surprise me with them. They were going to throw those signs, the official Lucasfilm signs there, the foam core mounted signs, Celebration 2, they were going to throw them away, and then they said, do you want it? And I said, yeah, I'm going to bring it. So I still have that as well, one of the few official convention signs that I have from my history with the Diorama Builders. I wasn't able to keep all of the signs because I was on a plane the other years and stuff like that. You couldn't fit that in your luggage. I am dead tired, and teardown sucks even more than setting up. I don't know about that, but putting all the figures back in their bag. Okay, maybe this part, because that was a lot of different things. Putting all the figures back in their bags and taking down all the dioramas is one thing, but finding a cart and going back to the docking bay is a madhouse. Okay, that part of being worse than setup, is that what I said? Worse than setup? But this, every convention is the same. It's like, you think that when you do the setup and you're bringing your car to the loading dock, you think that that's a nightmare? Well, at this time, as soon as celebration stops, it's like everyone's looking at their watch and it's like, okay, the convention's over, all the public's gone. Even while the public is gone, a lot of vendors, everyone, they start tearing down the booths. They want out of there. And we were taking, well, this one we were leaving right away, but in the future years, we learned to take our flight the next day so we could hang out a little bit and let all the people leave first. But there's only like 10 spots at the loading dock. And they're all taken, and everyone just wants a spot. And all the little carts that they give you, like these flat carts with wheels, a lot of the vendors who do just convention to convention to sell their toys and all the stuff like that, they usually have all their carts with them that you're able to put boxes and then roll them around, because the convention space is so huge if you've been to a convention, and the loading dock is, I don't know, like almost, I don't know how, I'm so bad with measurements, but if not 1,000 feet or more, I don't know how much 1,000 feet is, like at least maybe half a kilometer. It's like, feels like forever. Like it takes you 20 minutes to walk from your booth to that place. And then if you have to go back and forth with boxes and stuff, it's the last thing you want to do. Then that's only if your van or if your thing is at a loading dock. If the space isn't there, you have to wait for someone to leave in order to steal their spot, and that's when it all gets crazy. So I do agree with what I wrote there. It is a huge madhouse, 100%. Every dealer exhibitor wants to leave at the same time. See, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like rats running away from a sinking ship. Well, that's the best description. I should have just said that from the beginning. Thankfully, Lucie had hidden our cart from Thursday and kept it in our room all this time. Smart girl. We just put our boxes on top and walked to the minivan. Well, see, that's smart, because in the past, I think we did that at one other convention, maybe Celebration 9 or 8, I don't recall. But we did do that, because if you don't have your cart, if you're trying to, oh, can I borrow a cart? Is there a cart? And no, you're just out of luck. So for her to have done that, smart. Okay. Saying goodbye to all the new friends we made was the hardest. Every convention, it's the same, and I agree. And I what I was saying before, the fact that I'm not going to be there this year in person, I'll be there in spirit, but that's the hardest thing, because my team were like we became like a family after decades, right? And that's the most fun part. It's like summer camp for us. When the day that we reconnect, that we arrive, it's not like 3 years have passed or 2 years. It's like if we saw each other the weekend before. So I'm going to miss that a tremendous amount this year and other years if I can't make it moving forwards. But so saying goodbye is the hardest. Still to this day, every convention sucks. It's not really goodbye as it is see you soon. That is true. It felt like summer camp. I just said that. Yeah. You will stay in touch through emails and web chats, but the chances of ever seeing anyone again or a person is slim. Perhaps that's Celebration 3. See, at the time, I didn't know we were coming back. So a Bespin or Naboo Diorama, perhaps. We did Bespin. That was Celebration 7. And Naboo, we never did a prequel. I don't think we did prequel dioramas. Or Giant Arena Battle. No, we did not do that either. I ended up picking the Death Star as the theme. You can see photos on the convention menu. Yeah, so we did Death Star. We did... I have my little list here. Celebration 2, Mos Eisley. 3 was Death Star. Endor was 4. That was my favorite still today. I have very high emotions for Celebration 4 Endor, because it was the first year I got to work at ILM too. So it was seeing Mary and Steve at their offices. We were working in the same building. I could just take the elevator, go meet them, and show prototypes and stuff. That was very special. Then we did Return to Tatooine 10 years later at Celebration 6. Then we did Bespin. Then we did the Death Star Trench. And then we did Scarif. And then this year, Jamie and Ilsa are doing The Mandalorian. So that'll be 20 years of Diorama Builder Workshops there. It's crazy. Can you believe 20 years, 2 decades? It's nuts. So 7 p.m., takeoff towards Montreal. We drove 2 hours till 9 p.m. and stopped off at Taco Bell. Yeah, I liked Taco Bell in the past. I don't know if I still like it as much now, but or they changed the recipes, or there's something, it doesn't seem as good as it used to be when I was younger. It was great to sleep on the back seat while Lucy was driving through. Yeah, because we didn't have all the podiums and all the materials and stuff now, so we did have a back seat. When I would drive, she would go sleep. When she would drive, so that was a big perk for that. 18-hour drive, 18 hours to go from Indianapolis to Montreal. So Monday, May 6th, the long drive home. At around 2 a.m., we got to the Canadian Customs. Uh-oh, I don't remember any of this. I was asleep, and the brakes woke me up. We were asked how long we were gone for and if we bought any booze and cigarettes. No, I don't smoke, and I'm not going to buy booze in the States. I can buy that easily in Montreal. We said, half awake, that we were told half... we said nope. They said... or we said nope, half awake, and we're told to have a safe trip, and went right through, which is rare. Usually at customs, sometimes there's always problems. I have the worst luck at customs, even though I'm not doing anything. It's like they seem to see my guilty face or something, like, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my God. Anyway, safe, okay. Right through. No searches, no opening boxes, nothing. Great news when it's dead of night. We drove to a Tim Hortons for donuts and coffee, and I took over the wheel for the next 4 hours until dawn, arriving at Montreal at 11:45 a.m. That's a long ride. Imagine, like, 11:45 is still, like, you're not in the morning anymore. It's almost noon. Oh, and Tim Hortons, I'm craving a donut now. It's I put my things on the shelves and then went to the bank to deposit my U.S. currency. I hate bank tellers. Always take forever. Long live ATMs. Well, I think that still goes today. Yeah. Then I went to the Legends, which was a toy store in Montreal where I did the displays for my dioramas for many years. They have since closed, sadly. To get my new action figures. Brought them the Sakul and some books. Was great to see their smiles until I left, and then they were arguing who gets to keep the Sakul figure. Oh, that's funny. You know, like Jose, who was one of the owners at Legends, he actually came with us and his wife Patricia at the next one, Celebration 3, and Patricia ended up coming back for 2 or 3 more to help us with that after. So that was cool for that. I don't know who got to keep the George Lucas figure. I should ask Jose one time about that, if he still has that. Came back home at 2 p.m. and we went straight to bed till 9 p.m. So I slept from 2 to 9. What a blast it was. It was sad to be home. Yeah, it's bittersweet. You know, you're just from this high of the convention, and the first ever convention. And I don't remember if I had gone to Star Trek conventions before. That was the only conventions that really existed at the time. But I think my Star Trek convention was a Next Generation convention, and I think that was more in the after. I don't recall. Yeah, so very bittersweet. It is now 1:29 a.m. and I'm very tired again. I hope you enjoyed my stories and hope you will enjoy looking at the pictures for those of you who couldn't be with us. I think it will be the next best thing as having spent the weekend with me. For those of you who were there, I know it will bring back lots of smiles. Keep up with your creations and send me your diorama photos. If you were at the show and you haven't done so already and you procrastinate just like I do, please send me your Celebration 2 photos. I would love to include them in the visitors gallery. Or any other conventions that you've been to. I love seeing what you guys have made. And if you're making dioramas that are not from the convention and just for your own use, that were, you know, your own diorama creations, send them to dioramaworkshop.com at gmail.com, and I will create a fan page for you for your visit inside the website's visitor gallery. I know it will bring back his smiles. Keep up with your creations and send me your diorama pictures. There you go. Again, big thanks to Philip Wise, Rebel Scum, Mary Franklin, Lucasfilm for making this workshop happen, and Action Figure Express, BJ Action Figures, Entertainment Earth, Sci-Fi Expo, and Toy Palace. They were the sponsors that Philip got to help pay for the material supplies. The fans and I thank you for your generosity in paying for all the building materials. Indeed. There could not have been a Diorama Workshop without your help. See you maybe at Celebration 3, I said. Well, we do know that there was a Celebration 3. If you're a Facebook member, you can become a member of the official fan club. So let me go over here and I can do this now that we're finished reading. That was a lot of fun. I thought, like, okay, is it going to be interesting to watch me read or whatnot? But it was basically for my own selfish pleasure also of reading this. I just spit again on my screen. My God, maybe I'm getting hungry. I'm starting to my saliva glands. Yeah, so I hadn't read this since I wrote it, and so it was funny to see some stuff. There's things that I didn't remember in detail, and so I'm glad we got to do this. I think that if you missed the live interaction, then you can still listen to it and get a good feel of it, and you could just listen to it in the background as an audio book kind of thing also. And so I kind of regret that I don't think, from memory, I don't think I made diaries for the other future conventions. I did take lots of photos and different things like that that are and are not still on the website because of the procrastination. But it's really neat to have read this with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, interactions, let me know. It's easier to do than the tutorials because there's no editing involved. So I'm able to have this be published for you right away after the live feed ends. After this week, there's only one thing that I still have not done, is finish the small house tutorial. I will be doing that early in the week, maybe tomorrow or the day after, showing you how to paint the small house. When I did the original live tutorial for our live making of Fly on the Wall, you couldn't paint. You had to let the plaster dry, and it's been drying for 2 years. And 2 years, oh my God, that would be forever. It's been drying for 2 days, and it's ready to be painted now. So I'm gonna film that, and then I have the large building to show you, so that I could create a tutorial for that, which is basically the same technique as the small one, but might as well, if we want to be a completionist. I don't know what the word would be to complete the coverage of the convention, I guess I'm trying to say. I'd want to have the option of you to watch both videos and stuff like that. So anyhow, so that's going to be done, and then I'll be editing those, and then I'll also be editing in the back there is the Star Wars Basic Hallways Death Star that I created the in-between connector beams that I still have not managed to finish the editing for that. So hopefully we'll have 3 fun videos up this week for you guys. And then after that, it's the return of the Death Star. Chris voted on doing Ben Kenobi, Darth Vader's duel room next. So I'll be doing that and then returning to some of the other builds. The rest of the Death Star from Celebration 3 is really all the specific rooms. Now that the basic hallways are done, those were the flat, straight Death Star hallways that you put on your shelf if you want to do it that way. The rest is going to be specific rooms. So things like the red room, the trash compactor, the Princess Leia cell, detention center, destruction of Alderaan, all these things like that, which will be all connectable. Oh my god, I'm really having trouble speaking English today. Will be like Lego. You'll be able to connect them together. Connectability. Oh my god! Sometimes, like, I always make fun of my friends say that French is my first language. I go like, no, I speak better English. But sometimes I'm starting to wonder that maybe je parle mieux français que anglais. But I don't know. We'll have to put that test sometime. Anyhow, so that makes it an end for today's video. Thank you for everyone for coming to the channel and giving such nice comments and interacting with me on social media, Facebook and Instagram and all that. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and put a like, and always leave comments. I reply to every single one. It does help the channel grow. And I have so many plans for the summer and the upcoming year and years with the YouTube. So the more that we can share and get it to grow, the better. So thank you to everyone. Let me check over here. And have a nice end to your weekend. Happy Mother's Day again. And I will see you in another video very soon. Ciao for now. Bye. Frank Diorio out.